Hey everyone, now that we've got our siding and our roof, it's time to add some windows. So let's start out by phasing through this wall and turn around so that we're facing the outside wall. Now I'll hide the trim layer, unlock the walls layer, and select the measure layer. And I'm going to start from this lower left-hand corner, and I'm going to measure out 4 feet to the right, and then 2 feet straight up. And this will be the lower left-hand corner of the window. So now I'm measuring out 2 feet 10 inches. And I'm going to make the window 5 feet high. I'm going to measure out that 5 feet high again on the left side. Now, starting from the corner, I'm going to measure out 2 inches for the casing, and then 1 inch for the perimeters of the sashes. Now I'm going to measure 1 foot 5 inches from the corner to the center for the muntin bars. And now 1/2 inch in either direction to give an overall thickness of 1 inch. Now I'm going to measure halfway up from the corner, 2 foot 6 inches for the rails. And then again, 1/2 inch in either direction to give the rails a 1 inch thickness. And again in the opposite corner, 2 inches for the casing and 1 inch for the sash. now I'm going to lock and hide the walls and the siding layer, and I'm going to create a doors and windows layer. And now I'm going to create a plane of sub D on the new doors and windows layer. I'm going to make this white. Put it into edit mode, and then pull the corners to the corners of the measure objects. Put it back into edit mode and start using the tips of the measure objects to create, to snap to create loop cuts. And now I'm just going to go into settings and turn on the contours so I can more easily see where I've created my loop cuts. I'm going to make a copy, and I'm going to move it back about 4 inches. Just 1 inch at a time while using the smart move by aligning my controllers. And now I've put the first sub D objects into edit mode, and I'm going to start deleting some of these faces, basically everything but the very outside faces, because this is going to be the casing. So I accidentally deleted a outer face in the lower right here, so I'm going to undo and re-delete some of these faces. Okay, this looks good. So I'm going to go back to the copy I made, and I'm going to use this to make the sashes or the movable parts of the window. So all I'm going to do right now is just go ahead and delete all the outside parts of this mesh. Alright, now that I've got that, I'm going to make another copy of this, and I'm just going to align my controllers and push back about 1 inch and make that copy. And the mesh closest to us is going to be the lower sash, and the mesh furthest from us is going to be the upper sash. Okay, so now for the lower sash, I'm separating out the glass using the separate tool, and then I'm going to put the rest back in edit mode and delete everything on the on the top above the center line. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this one, except the top is I'm going to separate the panes from the top first, and then I'm going to grab the original mesh and delete everything from the bottom. And now I'm going to create a new layer for glass. And I'm going to grab the glass panes, make it like a light blue or cyan color, and drop it into the glass layer, and set the glass layer to 50% opacity. And now we can start to thicken everything. We'll make the casing about 7 inches. And then I'll make the sashes about 1 inch by pulling towards me. And great, so there's our window frame. And here I meant to group all of this together, but I missed the fact that my glass layer was locked, so make sure your glass layer is unlocked when you group these together. And now I'm turning the siding layer back on and the walls layer. Now pull the window frame forwards and backwards until you can see the casing both from the inside and from the outside of the house. Now make sure the walls layer is unlocked, and then grab the walls, put it in edit mode, and go over to the corner and create a loop cut. Try and get it to run through the bottom of the casing. And then another one that runs through the center of the top of the casing. Now add loop cuts at the corners. And now you should be able to grab and delete the face in the center. So that gray is another layer of walls that exists between the inside walls and the siding on the outside. And honestly, I could probably just get rid of that altogether, but I'm just going to cut a hole through it the same way I did the inside part of the wall. And now it's starting to look like a window, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so as you can see, I've made the siding layer visible again, and I've put it into edit mode. Now I'm going to add loop cuts again, going straight through the centers of the sides of the casing, and then one through the center of the top of the casing. And I think I'm good on the bottom. And so now I'm just going to start deleting the faces of the siding that are inside the center of the casing. And there we have it, our first window. And so now you could just make a copy of that and get it into position. This is a good time to get it into exactly the position that you want. Here I'm going to put it 4 feet from the wall. And now you can just start the process of adding loop cuts and cutting through the wall again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and next time I'll show you how to add doors. See you then.